So as I was discussing in the last video, that will be discussing current account in detail in the next slides. So let's see what all current account includes. As I told you, current account has three subparts. It is the export imports, the invisibles, and the unilateral transfers. So coming to the first part, that is the export and import. Now mercantile trade, it covers all transactions related to the movable goods, as I told you, the physical goods, the movable ones. So this clearly tells me that when the ownership, it moves from the resident to the non-resident, it is an export. And as I told you that balance of payments rest on the debit credit rule of credit all incomes and gains. So what is happening? I am getting something in return of that ownership. So that export is a credit item in the current account. On the contrary, when the ownership transfers from the non-resident to the resident, it becomes import. Now since we have to pay something for those imports, it becomes a debit item. The difference between the exports and imports is known as balance on the mercantile trade account, which we generally call as trade balance or balance of trade. This is a very common question that is asked in the examinations also, that what is the difference between balance of trade and balance of payments. So it should now be clear that balance of trade is a part of balance of payments. When we are referring to the current account, and in current account also when we are only referring to the mercantile trade or mercantile trade account balance, we are actually talking about the balance of trade. And when we consider other items of the current account and the capital account and official reserves account, and finally whatever balance we get, I am talking about the balance of payments. So balance of trade is just a part of balance of payments, and it relates to the balance between the exports and imports. So exports are the credit items, imports are the debit items. So if exports are more than imports, there is a surplus trade balance. And if debits in the form of imports are more than the exports, which are the credit items, there is a deficit or a negative balance in the balance of trade. Clear? Now let us move on to the next one, that is the capital account. Yes, coming to the capital account, what does capital account show? So the capital account, as in the case of other businesses, same is the case with the countries also. Now what does capital account tells us about? It tells us about the long term or the mid-term transactions between the residents of the country and the rest of the world. It includes the borrowings from foreign countries or lendings to the foreign countries. So these investments, this can be direct investments or this can be portfolio investments. Now those who have not studied finance till now, they cannot distinguish between a direct investment and a portfolio investment. Now direct investment is when I take up a project in a foreign country, and to carry on that project I make an investment directly in that country. I spend money to set up the factory, to set up the building, to provide the machines, to provide the expertise directly in that country. So it is called direct investment. Then what is portfolio investment? If I don't want to go in for the direct investment in the other country, what I can do is I can purchase the shares of some company which is operating in the foreign countries. So when I make investment in these shares of the foreign companies, I make a portfolio investment, and both are foreign investments. I am providing my capital to the company in the foreign land. It can be in the form of direct investment or it can be in the form of portfolio investment. So capital account basically relates to purchase and sale of assets, stocks, bonds, real estate, businesses, investments. It talks about all these things. So if we want to see the capital account in the detail, we can have a look at it. So in a capital account, the credit items are foreign investment in India. So when we are receiving that investment, it can be either direct or a portfolio investment. So when the foreigners are making investment in India, either in direct or portfolio form, it becomes a credit item for our capital account. Similarly, when we receive loans in the form of external assistance, when we make commercial borrowings, it can be medium term or long term, and short term loans. These are the credit items in the capital account. If any remittances are received by the Indian residents, that also forms a credit item in the capital account. Now, what does debit item include? The reverse of this. So, debit items will include when investment is made by some Indian resident in the foreign land in the direct or portfolio form, when the loans or the financial assistance is provided to the companies in the rest of the world by India, when loans are provided to the rest of the world by the people of India, residents of India, all this will become the items in the capital account. Now moving on to the third account, or as I have told you that it can be sometimes called as the part of the capital account. Now what does official reserve account do? This is a very important part of the balance of payments because it tells me the purchases and sales of reserve assets. Now what are reserve assets? These are gold, convertible foreign exchange and special drawing rights or SDRs by the Central Monetary Authority. Now which is the Central Monetary Authority in India? It is the RBI. RBI is the Central Monetary Authority in India. Now what does this mean? Reserve assets, gold, convertible foreign exchange, special drawing rights. If you have ever studied macroeconomics, you will always find that a country, when it comes into the foreign trade, when it is selling goods to the outside country, when exports are made, the payment is received by the country in the form of the foreign exchange or gold, something that is usable in any part of the world. These are the reserve assets. Gold is acceptable by all the countries throughout the world. Throughout the world. Then convertible foreign exchange, US dollars, pounds, which can be converted promptly into your domestic currency, right? So whenever a country makes exports, it receives foreign exchange or gold. Whenever country makes imports, we have to make payment in that other country's currency, or if we don't have that country's currency, we can make payment in gold. If we don't have that also, we can make payment in convertible foreign exchange. So whenever export and import is carried out between a country, if exports are equal to imports, there is no problem. But if exports are more than imports, then it is a very good position. The country will earn foreign reserves. It will have foreign reserves will be more than the spent foreign reserves because exports are more. So I am having a higher amount of foreign reserves. So what I can do, I can sell that foreign reserve, reserve assets. And what is the case when I have imports more than the exports? Now I don't have enough of convertible foreign exchange, or I don't have gold to make payment for that imports. So what I'll have to do, I'll have to purchase that gold or convertible foreign exchange from the market. So all this is done by RBI, but this is a case when we are following a fixed exchange rate regime, right? Before I come to the fixed and the floating exchange rate, let me explain the SDRs as well. Now SDRs are the special drawing rights. Now what is this? As I've told you that whenever exports and imports are there to balance the country, the central monetary authority in a fixed exchange rate regime either purchases or sells the reserve assets. Now reserve assets are two types. One is gold, another is the convertible foreign exchange, which in our world is generally US dollars. Now these special drawing rights, these are actually reserve assets which were created by the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and these are allocated from time to time to the member countries. Now what is basically SDR? This is a reserve asset and it operates as a supplement to the existing monetary reserves to the member countries. Why was it created? Because there was limitations of gold and dollars as the sole means of settling international account. So if everybody is trying to settle their international account with gold and convertible foreign exchange, that is dollar, sometimes there used to be a limitation on that, there used to be a scarcity of that. In that case, the IMF had created this SDRs, and these can be used to augment, to increase the international liquidity of the member countries. Right? Now I was talking about the fixed and the floating regime. So if there is a fixed exchange rate regime, RBI has to intervene when there is a imbalance in this balance of payments. And when there is a floating regime, the central bank comes in between, and the market forces of demand and supply, they actually decide about the market price of the foreign currencies. We'll discuss this in detail in the session on the fixed and the foreign exchange rate. So as I was discussing, official reserve account. Now it is a subdivision of the capital account. What does it hold? It is foreign currency and securities held by the government. As I have told you, usually the central bank. Now the official reserve increases when there is a trade surplus. Why would it increase? Because it holds the foreign currency. So if exports, when would there be a trade surplus? When exports are more than imports. So when exports are more than imports, we'll have more of foreign currency, more of foreign reserves. When we have more of foreign reserves, we'll have an increase in the official reserve. On the contrary, when there is a deficit, that is the exports are less than the imports, there will be a decrease in the official reserve account. With this, we are done with the balance of payments introduction, and we are done with the components of the balance of payments. We have done the features of characteristics of the balance of payments as well. In the coming video, I will be discussing that what is basically the balance of payments identity, why does a balance of payment account have a surplus or a deficit, and what is done by the countries to correct that surplus or deficit. What is balance of payments disequilibrium, and how that disequilibrium is corrected. Thank you all.